Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're not going to talk about tells, and we're not talking about pot odds. Nope. We're going to dive deep into the most important game in poker, the one that's played right between your ears. So let me ask you something. Think about this. At any table you sit at, whether it's online or live, there's one player you are always up against. Every single hand. And this player, they know your every thought, every single weakness. So, who is it? Yep, you guessed it. It's your own emotions. The toughest, most relentless opponent you will ever face at the table is you. And look, your emotions can be your greatest weapon, or they can be your absolute downfall. So today, we're going to figure out how to make sure they're working for you and not against you. Okay, so let's actually give this villain a name, shall we? Because trust me, if you've ever played even a little bit of poker, you've definitely met this opponent at the table. We're talking about tilt. You know the feeling, right? It's that moment a brutal bad beat happens, or you're on a string of just awful losses, and you just see red. Suddenly, all that strategy, all that logic, poof, gone. It's like your emotions just hijack the car and you're no longer in the driver's seat. And that leads us to this quote, which is so true. Tilt is a silent bankroll killer. And I really want you to think about that. This isn't just about feeling a little frustrated for a hand or two. No. Tilt has real, painful financial consequences. It can quietly just erase hours, maybe even weeks of your hard, disciplined work at the tables. You can see how this becomes a total domino effect, right? It all starts with losing focus. You're not even thinking about the current hand anymore. You're still fuming about the last one. And that distraction, it leads straight to terrible decisions. You start chasing draws you know you shouldn't, making these wild bluffs that make zero sense. And the end result, it's always the same. A massive, painful hit to your bankroll. And we've all been there, let's be honest. Picture this. You're having an amazing session, you're stacking chips, feeling great, and then, bam, one absolutely brutal bad beat. The tilt monster just pops up right on your shoulder. You get that itch, that urge to chase to get it all back in one stupid, reckless hand. But the key is to do what Alex, this online regular, managed to do. Just stop, take a breath, refocus. That is what saves a session. And it's a skill that, frankly, a lot of players never, ever learn. So the big question is, how do we fight back against this silent killer? Well, there's a really powerful countermove, and it has everything to do with training your mind. And that's where mindfulness comes in. Now, hang on. This isn't some fluffy wellness trend I'm talking about. In the world of poker, mindfulness is a straight-up strategic weapon. It's the art of being totally present, right here, right now. It's about observing your own emotions without letting them grab the controls, so you can stay logical and clear-headed, especially when the pressure is really on. I mean, just look at the difference here. On one side, you've got on tilt. You're reactive, you're emotional, you're chasing losses, you're totally distracted. And on the other side, mindful. You're present, logical, strategic, and focused. There is absolutely no question which one of these players wins money in the long run. The only real question is, which player are you going to choose to be? And the benefits here, they're not abstract, they're super concrete. We're talking a huge boost in your focus and your emotional control. You get more patience, so you can wait for the right spots to get your money in. And all of that just naturally leads to better, more profitable decisions. But here's the kicker. The real secret sauce? This isn't just about playing defense against your own tilt. When you're in control, you're in the perfect spot to notice when your opponents are losing it. Their tilt becomes your advantage. Seriously, think of these as your new poker superpowers. Just imagine it, being able to stay laser-focused for hours on end. Being able to spot those little emotional triggers, not just in yourself, but in other players, before they blow up. Being able to fold that tempting but trashy hand without even thinking twice. All while you watch your opponent go full on tilt and just light their chips on fire. That is what this mental training gets you. Okay, so we get the why. That's the easy part. Now let's get into the how. Let's get practical. How do you actually build this mental armor for when you're at the table? Yeah, it's time to move from all this theory into some real action. And don't worry, these aren't some complicated hour-long meditation sessions. No way. These are quick, super simple exercises you can start using right now to build up that mental armor and stay sharp. Okay, First up, this is your emergency reset button, the 444 breathing reset. You just lost a monster pot, feeling that heat rising, that tilt coming on. In between hands, just do this. Inhale slowly for 4 seconds, hold it for 4 seconds, and then exhale completely for 4 seconds. It's a super simple physiological trick that literally calms your nervous system down and brings your logical brain back online. And you can totally build on that. Just taking like 3 to 5 minutes for a quick meditation before you play can totally change your mindset. And during the game, you can actively practice acknowledging a bad beat and then just letting it go. The one thing that connects all of these techniques is a single core idea. Treat every single hand like it's a clean slate, a brand new puzzle to solve. But here's a good question. Does this stuff work the same if you're playing online versus in a live game? Well, the battlefield definitely changes. The core principles of mindfulness, they're the same, but the challenges you're going to face are completely different. When you're playing online, your number one enemy is digital distraction. It's the notifications popping up, the extra browser tabs you have open, that constant temptation to multitask. You're fighting against isolation and impatience, but live poker, whoa, that's a whole different beast. Now you're dealing with social pressure, the noise of the room, the constant table talk. You have to manage your own physical presence while trying to read everybody else's. So for you online grinders, it's all about creating a fortress of focus. Mute your phone. Close every tab that isn't poker. Seriously, set a timer and force yourself to get up and walk away from the screen for a few minutes every single hour. You have to protect your focus because online, it is your single most valuable asset. Now, in a live game, your mindfulness practice is all about staying present in that kind of chaotic environment. When you fold your hand, don't just zone out and check your phone. Stay engaged. Watch every hand. Observe the other players. And when you find yourself in a really tough spot, facing a huge bet, that 444 breathing thing we talked about, that becomes your anchor in the storm. All right, let's wrap this up. Let's bring it all together. What's the one big takeaway from all this? Look, if you remember just one thing from all of this, let it be this. Literally anyone can learn pot odds. Anyone can memorize starting hand charts from a book. But the player who masters their own mind, the one who can stay calm and logical when all hell is breaking loose, that player has an edge you will never, ever find in a book. And that, right there, is the ultimate difference between a good player and a great one. So I'll leave you with this one question. The next time you sit down at a table, before a single card is dealt, I want you to ask yourself, are you playing the cards or are your emotions playing you? Because I guarantee you, the answer to that question will probably determine whether you walk away a winner.